What's going on, guys? B. Scott, I'm here with
Godzilla.
And on today's show, we got your Super Wildcard Weekend picks. We're going to be going through every single game, looking at this weekend's first round of playoffs, and giving you our picks and our predictions based on the matchups.
Yeah, the sum of all things. We finally here. Fantasy is over, and now it's time to get to the nitty gritty. With the plug, you already know we got you. Drop the logo.
What's going on, guys, and welcome back. As I mentioned in the preview, we're going through the Wild Card Weekend games. We're going to be looking through every single game. There's 6 of them, and we're going to be telling you our picks and our predictions based on, the analytics of what these teams hold. So before we get to today's content, don't forget, like the video, subscribe, share, thumb bell, and then comment. If you want to hear about any of these teams or any team going forward, you got Green Bay Packers and Tennessee Titans having the week off, drop in the comment section. We'll be glad to give you our advice and our opinions on these teams going forward. So let's start with the first game on the docket Saturday. 1:30 start time, at least for us, Pacific Standard, 4:30 on the Eastern. Las Vegas Raiders on the road against Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati at home, -5.5, 49 over-under. And look, my worry for the Cincinnati Bengals is they took their last week off. Could that knock on some rust? These are teams, obviously they're young, they're hungry. They've never been to the playoffs in a long time. Joe Burrow, first playoff game, second year. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, can the Las Vegas Raiders slow them down? The secondary Las Vegas Raiders played very well, especially over the last few games. And the pass rush has been getting home. Max Crosby coming off a huge game against the Los Angeles Chargers. If they can get after Joe Burrow, I think they can get it done. Now, Joe Mixon, I worry about him as well, coming off the COVID list. Lots of players have struggled, especially with conditioning issues fresh off the COVID list. So that's one thing to pay attention to. On the flip side with the Las Vegas Raiders, can Josh Jacobs get it done, man? He's been banged up the last couple weeks with ribs and a couple of different little nagging injuries. They're going to need to lean on him a little bit. Darren Waller, honestly, was a little bit out of sync against the Los Angeles Chargers. Hopefully he can be ready. And Hunter Renfrow. I mean, he's going to get open at some point, and you know it. Derek Carr, can we hope he doesn't crap the bed? Because he tends to crap the bed sometimes. So they played the Cincinnati Bengals already, week 11. 32-13 was the final score. And honestly, it was a lot closer than that heading into the fourth. But for me, I'm going to take the Las Vegas Raiders on the +5.5. I think even if the Raiders lose this game, it's going to be by less than 5.5. So.
Yeah, you know what? There's good news in this situation because, the Cincinnati Bengals have not won a playoff game since 1991. I'm not sure if Joe Burrow was even alive at that point. Looking at the Raiders, they have not won a playoff game since they went to the Super Bowl in 2002.
Yeah.
So, at least one of these people are going to win. One of these teams are going to win this weekend, and who wins that will be decided right now. I think the way the fashion that it happened last week, last game with Cincinnati and Raiders, they played it really close all the way to the end, and then here it comes. Here comes the offense from Joe Burrow and these wide receivers. So, I think that at any point in this game, they can always come back. They can always shoot it out. They can always score points. Can the Raiders really be effective in feed a guy like Bryan Edwards, feed a guy like Darren Waller, because Darren Waller has to be the Darren Waller that we know, which is a top 5 tight end in fantasy world, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For them to win this game. I think everybody has to play a game for them to do this. You can argue this or not, you know what I'm saying? Like, the Raiders are kind of lucky to be in this situation, to be in the playoffs, period, considering all the controversies that they've had this year. I'm looking at the spread numbers. The Raiders are 4-4 against the spread as a away team, and as a home team, Cincinnati is 4-5. The Raiders coming into this matchup, though, hot, 4 games in a row, winning 4 games in a row. So, obviously they can get something done. For me, I still tend to feel like Cincinnati, Joe Burrow, they're going to get this done. I really do. I think I'm going back to 5.5 for them. I think they win by a touchdown easily.
Okay. Trust me, I'm torn because Cincinnati Bengals really came on strong on the backstretch, and that offense, Joe Burrow, come on, back-to-back games, over 400 yards, 4 touchdowns. You know what I mean? It's like unreal. And then he gets the week off. I just worry, young head coach with Zach Taylor, them taking that week off, could it mess up the rhythm a little bit?
Of course.
That does play a factor. And now Rick Bisaccia for the Las Vegas Raiders. He's not obviously a special teams coach, but can he manage this game correctly? Because it's going to be very important. That plays a huge factor, especially in the playoffs.
Yeah, and, edge for the Raiders, being that this is their first time being in the playoffs, this is Derek Carr's first game in the playoffs in his career, they're going to come out hot. We've seen Cincinnati come out and play terrible first half. So, I think the Raiders are going to give it all they got, and maybe your bet here is to pick the Las Vegas Raiders first half.
Okay. So we're a little split on that. I like the Las Vegas Raiders at the 5.5. I think it's a big enough spread that I feel comfortable taking the Las Vegas Raiders. And to win the game, I mean, obviously I'm rooting for the home team, Las Vegas Raiders, but we'll move on to the next matchup. We got the New England Patriots on the road against Buffalo Bills. Buffalo -4.5. The over-under here is 44. And I'll be honest, it's supposed to be really, really cold in this game. 0 degrees, I want to say. Something like that's going to be hovering around there. I'm going to back the Buffalo Bills, and here's why. Can they slow down the running game of the New England Patriots? That's going to be the only question. I talked about it last week against the Miami Dolphins. If you can slow down the running game and try and force Mac Jones to beat you, he's still a rookie, and he makes mistakes, and he turns the ball over. Honestly, at a high level when they've given him the reign like that. So the effectiveness of the New England Patriots is this: run the football and play defense. We already know this. Coming in, that's going to be the game plan. I mean, you saw it last time they played the Buffalo Bills in the Wind Bowl. You know what I mean? It was already cold. Where they ran the ball, 45 times, I want to say, and 3 pass attempts by Mac Jones. That's how you hide, you know what I mean, some flaws. So I take nothing away from Mac Jones. He's played great this season. He's played great, especially against bad defenses, and he's played okay in spots, but he's also turned the ball over. He is still a rookie. So, there's nothing you can take away there. I just think the Buffalo Bills get this done at home. They got a lot of weapons. They've started to run the football effectively, especially down the stretch. I want to say Devin Singletary had over 70, 80 yards in 3 of their last 4 games, something like that, and he's had 5 or 6 touchdowns in that span. They're finally running the ball effectively with a running back. That's what we hoped for coming into the season. They never found it until now, and if they can do that effectively against a Patriots team that's given up, especially to the running backs over the last few weeks, I like the Buffalo Bills. So I'm going to back the Buffalo Bills at 4.5, -4.5, and the over-under for me, I just think in the cold weather, there's not going to be a ton of points. So I'm going to take the under.
Yeah, the under, I mean, I can see where a lot of people will go there with the cold weather. You look at New England 3-5 against the total, being under 3-6, you know what I'm saying, for the Buffalo Bills at home. So, this could be really a under game. But the thing about Josh Allen and these Buffalo Bills is, they play very timid, and they also play very timid against these New England Patriots. We've seen that game. I mean, Mac Jones didn't have to throw at all. But to reach this total, which is 44, if you're saying that Buffalo is going to get ahead in this game, I think Mac Jones is going to have to throw in this game. So I think that they can get over this number completely. Now, you're looking at New England coming into this game, 5-2 against the spread as the away team, and Buffalo 4-3-2 as the home team. Here's the deal. Josh Allen's going to play really, really well in the cold, given that last game was a win game, and that's the game that you got to kind of really emphasize on is the win, not really the cold or the snow. Come to find out that they're saying his toes get numb in the cold or whatever. And Josh Allen has not played a game under 15 degrees weather in his career. So at this one where it's playing 0, I think I want to back Bill Belichick and Mac Jones and these Patriots because I think that, the best player, if you're saying the best player so far in the last couple of weeks is Devin Singletary, I think they'll be able to take that away from them. A lot of teams have rushed really high on these New England Patriots. Mac Jones, another one of these kids that's coming out right now, he is the rookie, and there's a couple other guys that are in their second and third year tenures who have all been in championship games or won a national championship at the collegiate level. So I don't think that this stage is too big for them at all. Just to say that they're a rookie, I don't think that says anything. I think that they're ready for this opportunity, and especially a guy like Mac Jones, who was considered inside the Rookie of the Year awards. You know what I'm saying? But they lost that last game in a tough divisional game against Miami. Of course, I get it. I got it back to 4.5 for New England here, and I think that New England could possibly take this one home. I'm scared of Buffalo to back them at this point. I really am. I'm not sure what we're going to see from Josh Allen this weekend. I think the major factor will be, can Josh Allen run on this defense? And that's one thing that maybe the Patriots are not looking to take away from him. And if that is so, that may be the key to victory for these guys. But I do kind of see it being an over game.
Okay. Yeah, I think just with the cold weather, there may not be as many big plays. I mean, with the ball being ice cold. So I like the under here, and I just want to back the Buffalo Bills. Just
when it comes to the ball, they're always inflated. You know how New England do.
Yeah, of course. You got to get them flat ones out there. Brady ain't there, so we're good. On to the next game. Speaking of Tom Brady, we got the Philadelphia Eagles on the road against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The over-under is 46, -8.5 is Tampa Bay, favored at home. And look, these guys played in Week 6. Philly covered the spread at that point, and I think it was 8 or 8.5 also. 28-22 was the final score there.
That 2-point conversion at the end killed everybody in
look,
America's slip.
I'm telling you. So the Eagles have a lot of players come back off COVID. I think that could play a factor here. I want to say they had at one point last week 14 or 16 players, a lot of starters. Rested everybody last week against the Dallas Cowboys. So the guys that were there and available were fresh. I like Tampa Bay to win the game minus 8.5. It's kind of a large number, and it's hard to back. Why? One, it's the playoffs, but two, Tom Brady, what weapons is he going to be able to utilize the most? Obviously, Mike Evans looks as healthy as he can be. There's talks Leonard Fournette might be back. If he is, that's great for the offense. And I think the Titans are going to get it done. Gronkowski, Cameron Brate. Philly struggled against the tight end position a lot this year. So I like those guys. Now the pass rush, if they get at Tom Brady, that's going to affect him, period. Tom Brady's a rhythm player, and you know that. If you can get into him early on especially, you throw that rhythm off, he might struggle there, and they may struggle to run the football here if Leonard Fournette's not 100%. So I could see a path in which Philly could keep it close, potentially win the game at the end. I wouldn't be so sure. They'd have to play a perfect game plan, and like the Washington football team, just keep Tom Brady on the sideline, be able to string together long drives. And the way that you do that, run the football, and Philadelphia can't. So yeah. I like Tampa Bay to win the game. I don't love the 8.5, but I'll probably still back it, to be honest. And 46, I'm leaning towards the under here, but I know these teams can score over. So
yeah, I'm looking at Philly in this game, and I think that a lot of people are thinking of this really wrong. You got a 46 over and under, and if you look at it combined, they're 9-8 as away teams and home teams with the over on the season. So I think that if Tampa Bay even gets ahead a little bit, we're looking at a Philadelphia team that who can honestly score points.
Yeah.
Number one, 140 rushing yards per game. They were number one in the league in rushing, and I think they can get this done. And you look at how the Saints are built and how the Saints beat them. You know what I'm saying? I think if they throw a couple of these safeties high, with no Antonio Brown, no Chris Godwin, keep Brady to 7 points in the first half, I think that they can come away very close to the spread of this game and honestly come close to winning this game. Of course, I'm not going to back Philadelphia at this point to win because – you know, the pass rush for the Saints are a little bit better than Philadelphia right now. You know what I'm saying? If Brandon Graham or whatever didn't go down, maybe we'd be talking about a different game. Yeah. But we're talking about this game with Jalen Hurts in this one. You look at the Eagles 5-4 against the spread as the home team. 6-2, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the home team. And they're coming in hot, winning 3 games in a row. So I think this game is completely going to be a over game, over 46. And I lean towards Philadelphia 8.5. If you want to buy the 1.5 or whatever, get you the 10 or whatever, you know, that's a good thing. I don't think they lose by much in this one.
Yeah, I could agree right there. To be honest, it's hard to back Philly. They got a young head coach. Obviously, Jalen Hurts. We talked about it. He's young also. A lot of young weapons and new pieces. Dallas Goedert finally the tight end one on the team. You know what I mean? Miles Sanders, is he going to be healthy? Yeah, they got a string what is that called? A stable. They got a stable of running backs. All of them are effective, so that's good for them. Hopefully, they're all ready to go. But I got to back Tampa just for the fact that they're reigning Super Bowl champs. They're in the playoffs where it means the most now. So I got to back Buccaneers.
And, you know, they're coming into this wild card weekend winning 3 games in a row. Last year when they won the Super Bowl, they came into the playoffs winning 5 games in a row. You know what I mean? So they're obviously on that trend of being ready for the playoffs, of course. You know what I'm saying? You can never bet against TB12, but I'm not so sure about this 8.5 spread right now.
Okay. Yeah. So we're pretty much on the same factor that Tampa Bay is going to win the football game.
Yeah.
On to the next matchup. We got the San Francisco 49ers on the road against the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas minus 3.5. The over-under is 51. And look, if this was the 90s, this would be like the greatest thing ever. What could you say?
It would be the greatest thing ever where, you know, Dallas typically comes back and wins these games.
Okay. I'll tell you right now. I like the San Francisco 49ers on the plus 3.5. And the reason is they tend to just hang around and stay in these games regardless. They're not a team that gets blown out very often at all, if at all. And Dallas Cowboys, their offense has sputtered at times. They're still an elite offense, and you've seen what Dak Prescott did. I get it. He played against the Philadelphia Eagles team that literally rolled out the second stringers and third stringers, and it was kind of embarrassing.
It was
to be
a warm-up
honest.
game.
Yeah, of course. So you can't judge last week's game. But Dallas has struggled, especially at home a little bit, getting that offense going and in rhythm. And Zeke, we know, we've seen him decline. Period. What can you call it? You can call it all you want. You can sugarcoat it anyway.
I mean,
it's a decline. You know what I mean?
His decline
Be real.
The number 5 fantasy back on the season.
Hey, absolutely. But at this point, number 5 fantasy back when nobody did anything in fantasy. Your top 3 fantasy backs are outside the top 15 because they were all hurt. So, anyway, Zeke's on a decline, but he's still been effective, especially in the red zone. We know this. Can these wide receivers, can they get CeeDee Lamb going? That's important in my opinion.
Yes.
CeeDee Lamb's your most talented receiver against secondary that struggled at times.
Yeah, over the last few months, he's been under 60 yards or a touchdown.
Yeah, exactly. So you got to get CeeDee Lamb going, in my opinion. Amari Cooper just hasn't looked fully healthy all season long.
Yeah.
Period. He just hasn't. And obviously, Cedric Wilson is talented. We know what Dalton Schultz can bring. But can the Dallas Cowboys defensive line stop the offensive line of the 49ers? That's what I worry about. Because the 49ers, what they can do well, run the football effectively. Elijah Mitchell will be ready to go. You got George Kittle. Can they slow that down? Deebo Samuel out of the backfield. And his, 8 yards per carry, yards after catch, 10 plus. You know what I mean? It's like unreal, the stats that he's putting up. I got to back the San Francisco 49ers here. And the 3.5 I like because it saves you on the field goal either way. So if Dallas wins by a field goal, you get your money.
Yeah, this is a extreme classic, the Niners, Cowboys. I mean, through history, especially here in Northern California, we've always looked forward to this matchup when it became available. Immediately after the Niners win against the LA Rams last week, I looked at the lines and it was 49.5, and these guys were favored by 3 points. Dallas was favored by 3 points.
Yeah.
I text you and I told you that means that the total that they were expecting is a 27-24 type of game. And I felt like if San Francisco could hold them under 30 points, they have a huge opportunity to win this football game, 27-24 San Francisco. Now the line has moved up to 51. And, it seems like I'm kind of right, you know what I mean? But I think the magic number is 30. You know what I mean? You look at that depleted secondary for San Francisco. I know CeeDee Lamb has not produced, in the last month and a half.
Yeah.
Amari Cooper's looked bad in the last month and a half. You know what I mean? Cedric Wilson, his little shots, but it's only a matter of time before they do become very effective. You know what I mean? We know Amari Cooper, a lot of his production is 50% of the fucking season. You know what I'm saying? In one game. So, you're looking at that and you're thinking, Dallas is a juggernaut and they should win this game easily by 3 points.
Yes.
On the other hand, you look at Dallas on their defense, Michael Parsons lining up everywhere, be able to get to Jimmy Garoppolo at will, if he wants to. I know Trent Williams and those guys up front are really beefy and that line is pretty good, it's stout. And then you got like turnover guys in Brown and Trayvon Diggs. These spell problems for Jimmy Garoppolo completely. But what is on their side that can keep them in games and not ask you the most for Jimmy Garoppolo's arm is they're dead last in the league covering tight ends who line up on the tackle.
Yeah.
Inline tight end. So this is Kittle's season. You know what I'm saying? They can honestly let lose a couple assignments and Kittle could go wild in this game, to be honest with you. This could keep it very close to the number. However, if it goes to 30, then you're asking Jimmy to win this game, and I don't know necessarily if he can really produce that kind of thing. Unless there's another factor in this. They go to Trey Lance in the second half, and all bets are off at this point. We've seen him produce. We've seen what he can do. I think he can avoid the pass rush a little bit. Man, these bombs going to Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, this could be a problem. So, with that being said, I'm taking it over for 51 points. But I'm still going to back Dallas Cowboys to win this game. Okay. I think, it's in Jerry World. This is the comeback player of the season. They've gone all out. And I think this is the game where Dak finally says, you know what, I'm not going to shit the bed this week.
Okay. I'll be honest. I'm going to roll with San Francisco 49ers for also another reason. Prior to the season, I have the Buffalo Bills and the San Francisco 49ers playing in the Super Bowl.
I'll be able to tell you next week my Super Bowl.
So that's okay. I had that written down, and I'm going to stick and roll with it. I had the 49ers honestly second in that division, and they finished third, but I still like them here. I'm going to take the San Francisco 49ers.
Them boys.
Yeah. Okay. On to the next matchup. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers on the road against the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City at home, minus 12.5, 46.5 is the over-under. And what can you say? Kansas City in Week 16 beat the Pittsburgh Steelers by a whopping 26 points.
It was never close.
Not even close. And Pittsburgh Steelers, What did they average? 16 points over the last 8 weeks of the season? You know what I mean? So I'll tell you right now, how could you feel comfortable backing Pittsburgh at all in this game? I don't love the 12.5 by any means. I mean, Kansas City hasn't been. They didn't cover against the Denver Broncos when they needed it. Remember, the spread was 8.5. I want to say, or 10.5. And I was all on Denver. There was no way. And what happened? They beat them by 4. So for me, I still am struggling to back Pittsburgh for the plus 12.5 because I don't know if Pittsburgh can get to 20 points. You know what I mean? And can Pittsburgh defense hold them to under 30 points? You know, so that's my worry there. I'm going to back the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't see how you could back the Pittsburgh Steelers at all. Even Ben Roethlisberger doesn't back his own team. He came out and said it. So for me, I'm backing the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't love the 12.5, and honestly, the 46.5 over and under is probably that's going to push. It's going to be very close.
I'm gonna go with the edge, and I'm gonna kind of follow a trend here. You know, I feel like if the weather is bad in Kansas City, and you know we still have a limited questionable thing with Tyreek Hill. You know, Travis Kelce, excuse me, been banged up all year. He's probably not on the injury report, but you know he's not Travis Kelce that we know. I would say that, you know, there's a fighting chance for a guy like Ben Roethlisberger possibly leaving everything on this field right now. This is potentially his last game ever as a quarterback in the National Football League. I see that he's going to try to push it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? No matter if he get the cortisone shot and just start chucking them downfield, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I think they're going to leave it on the field. You know, you look
if
at
only
Phillip
Claypool
Rivers,
could come down with some of those plays, man.
It
makes it look good.
You look at
Phillip
Rivers in that game last year. You know, he just left it all on the field, which they should have won that game, but they found a way to lose that one.
Phillip Rivers pulled a Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But Ben Roethlisberger could pull a Ben Roethlisberger here. But I think 12.5 is a little bit high for me. But I would say check game day, check the weather, and if all these things fall in the same spot, then back Pittsburgh 12.5. Otherwise, back Kansas City 12.5.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Okay, we're both on that. There's no way. I
can't.
I cannot see a path in which Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Kansas City Chiefs.
And watch Kansas City lose.
No, I just can't see it. So on to the last matchup. We got Monday Night Football. Arizona Cardinals on the road against the Los Angeles Rams. 49.5 is the over-under here. -4.5. The Rams are favored. And I'm going to back the Rams at -4.5. They're at home. Honestly, the Arizona Cardinals have let down really down the backstretch. They've lost a lot of games. Honestly, think about it. They started, 9-0?
Yeah.
10-0? No, 9-0, I think, before they got the first loss. And what happened? Now they're, less than 500?
I think what happened is they lost Hop and they've lost their offense a little bit. You know, I think they're still going to be very dependent on the running game, and they're going to ask Kyler to do a lot in this game. You know what I'm saying? An absolute lot.
Well, he has to do a lot.
You know, I think just that enough is going to be able to keep them in this game a little bit. You look at 4.5, and I'm looking at Arizona outside of Philadelphia. You know, they were one of the hotter teams on the road this year, 8-1 against the spread. And I think, in my opinion, I'm going back Arizona plus the 4.5.
Okay. I like the Los Angeles Rams, and as long as Stafford can clean up and not make too many turnovers or give up a defensive touchdown. I think
Stafford's been a little sus lately.
I'll tell you what.
He's been looking like Stafford that played on the Lions, but he's not on the Lions.
I know. He's got a lot better weapons, too. That's what I'm saying. He's still throwing interceptions, and he's got, 3 decent wide receivers. You know what I mean? Cooper Kupp and OBJ. And imagine if Robert Woods was there and Van Jefferson. It's like...
It wasn't an upgrade.
I'll tell you right now. I still think they're favored here. I think they win it. Stafford's got to play better. And I don't think he makes too many mistakes here. I think they established the run game. Cam Akers, we saw him last week. That was great to see.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to be able to establish the run against the Arizona Cardinals.
Is Henderson available for this game?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's going to matter. I think Sony Michel and Cam Akers will be able to do enough effectively, especially.
Probably
so. For me, I got to back the Los Angeles Rams. I just don't see it. Now I think 49.5 is going to go way over. These teams are going to score points. Kyler's going to be leaned on a lot. His wide receivers core, receiving core has really been decimated. No Rondale Moore, no DeAndre Hopkins. If Hopkins even plays. Chase Edmonds, he's been questionable. James Conner's been questionable. Both these guys a little banged up too. So I got to back the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah, I think the Rams win, but I'm gonna take the spread with I'm gonna lay it with Arizona.
Okay. All right, so that's it. That's our wild card weekend picks. Go through every single matchup and give you our opinions. So once again, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, share, thumb bell, and then comment if you want to hear or disagree with any of us. That's fine. Drop in the comment section. We'll be glad to give you our opinions on the reasons that we have for what we picked.
Yeah. Hopefully the team won If they didn't, drop it in the comment section. See you in the divisionals.